This is Mr. Impact Wrestling himself, Moose, and you're listening to the Irish Whip.
Hookers? Hookers and Coke?
Hookers and Coke, man.
You're the only pro wrestler I know that wants to do this shit in the morning.
Yeti, you're a f***ing moron.
Put it this way, I think Sami Callihan might as well just change his name to Invader
I
One.
want to know why. Like, he can dodge any question. Like, I'll tell anyone that. You can tell me but I'm going to ask specific questions.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
WrestlingNewsSource.com. For all the rest of you yahoos who are out there dilly-dillying, you little wankers, we're actually receiving real wrestling news.
This is
Brett screwed Brett.
Who are you to doubt El Dandy? Because this guy's a serious professional.
Brett screwed Brett.
Hold two! Arm bar!
Hey, get a nice shot of the brand new Mr. and Mrs. Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate your hat. I hate your t-shirts. I hate your wristbands. I hate your shoes. I hate your music. I hate the C Nation. I hate everything that you stand for.
Sodas rule.
Yeah, they do.
Dude.
Ooh.
For those of us that aren't able to see that as we record this tonight, that's a promo for Masha Slamovich. Dude, that's pretty tight, right?
Dude, what intro. What a way to bring us in.
Russian Collusion Tour 2021. Chaos Club. I got to get one of those bad.
Chaos Club in the house. What's cool is you can pick any color, pretty much any color shirt and any color print.
Interesting, because I would have also went with NWO Red. I also would have went with Wolfpack
all day.
Yes. So we're giving away a fig tonight, obviously.
Yeah. It's a pretty cool figure. It's the first basic we've done in a while, but I think it's probably like the best basic out there. It's the WrestleMania 37, the feed.
Shorty G's the best basic fig out there right now. Try to find those fuckers on the shelf. I have one.
Of course you do.
I showed you what I got. For those of you that don't know, like Timber's like the ultimate woman of all women when it comes to like fig hunting, right? And I told you, like, we went to a certain spot and there was certain like figs that I wanted, and it like I was like, man, I just can't. This COVID's been real. Like we made it right to this point, and like we're there. So I was able to go back and get these, but like she put these figs in some luggage, dude, and we went back there, and we bought them today.
I want to explain the
horrible. I'm horrible like that, but I'm a fig hunter here, and these guys in Billings are ruthless, man.
I want to explain the breakdown of today's show and why it is the way it is too. So we're gonna break down. We're gonna do the 3 matches I think that they've announced for the Royal Rumble so far. Give our predictions on those, and then we'll give our predictions on the rest next week. We're going to give away the figure, and then not for the people live, but for the people that not for the people live, but for the people who catch us, download us after, is going to be on Nikita Koloff, the first part of that interview.
Yeah, and here's the big thing, like for everybody that downloads and listens to us through the Full Press Wrestling app, as well as through Wrestling News Source, there's going to be some big things for us on Wrestling News Source. Our secret hideaway, for those of you that listen and watch when we do our interviews, is on Sportscaster. That is our secret hideaway. That is where the TAW Mafia gathers. Rucker gets it. That's where we go and we do our interviews. Like we will do interviews, and that's where we keep them, and that's where they're troved and hidden.
We got some cool ones coming up. Lance Von Erich got an autobiography coming out, and the gentleman who he wrote the book with reached out to us, so we're going to review the book and have the other author on the show. Maybe Lance, I don't know. I think Lance.
Anything Von Erich, I'm over.
Yeah,
I'm a Von Erich fan. I was a Von Erich fan when I was a kid. It was just like getting to talk to Nikita Koloff. Like part of this interview that you're going to be able to listen to is this was an honor for me because I had 13 channels growing up in a little town of Montana, and it was
right.
Thank God for Ted Turner and TBS.
You had to switch from like UHF. to like get to like the other channels.
Right. Get the clicker. Back then, it was still a clicker.
There was no clicker. Yeah, there was 2 knobs on the TV.
Oh, that too. I mean, dude, interviewing Nikita Koloff was a highlight of highlights for me. It was just fun. So he was entertained by us, and it was fun because we talked about some really cool things. We talked about some deep things. I mean, when you're able to
in touch with them, like it's so that won't be a one-time thing. I don't think.
No, I don't either. It's there's bigger and there's things that are coming down the road for us that are going to be really, really big, really fun and really exciting. And this is just part of it.
Don't forget about the indies.
Oh shit, no! Like that's I guess that's the biggest point.
For the live next Friday. He'll run down the part of the Royal Rumble with us. Will be someone Bobby D and Tommy Flynn will appreciate. And I predict in about 6 months, everyone else on this feed will appreciate. And that's the Prize City OG, Alec Price.
Dude, that kid.
Beyond Wrestling, Limitless Wrestling.
Just look at the Limitless belt, who it's on, and who that individual competed against in a tournament to win that. Like some of those spots that he's just a driven kid. He's another kid from the Northeast that's driven, has a life goal. He's going to do it, and nobody's going to tell him no.
August Gray's tweet the other day that he's the only wrestler in history to ever have been in the Vacation Land Cup, ECWA Super 8. He went through a list of all the tournament
Young Lions Cup,
best of the best.
Dude.
And the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic.
I will forever correct Best of the Best. If anybody ever mentions the Best of the Best, the first women to ever compete in the Best of the Best was Lufisto. It was not Tessa Blanchard. So if you read that, Lufisto was the first to ever compete in Best of the Best.
But there's some heat there. So they kind of like they Randy Hogan'd her. They wrote her out of history.
I don't give a shit. How can there be heat? It's fucking CZW. It's DJ Hyde. He's the dirtiest dude in the business.
Right. Well, he's been canceled now, hasn't he?
Well, I fucking whatever, right?
Me too.
So, Matt Tremont, keep listening. I appreciate you, man. We're trying to continue to get that interview, so that's a golden one for me. Hey, if you guys are out there, follow us at 3 Irish Boys, but also tweet Matt Tremont. And as always, today is Friday, so during the show, I'm going to go ahead and send the tweet that if you do not follow Boot to the Face, you should, and you should also DM them as it's the time to DM Boot to the Face on Friday.
And listen, guys, so this week here, the wheel wasn't what it has been in the past. That me and Josh didn't really have a lot of time this week, neither one of us, to sort of push it the way we have. But so our names have been left on there. If my name comes up, I'm going to make a donation to one of a cancer foundation, and maybe I'll spin the wheel and do it on somebody else's name because I really don't give a shit about credit for it. And for $25, I'll do it for the price of an elite figure.
We're gonna also, I mean, there's some other stuff that we're working on, and I'm super excited. We continue to just grow in avenues, and the key to all of this, we do have avenues. Like Wrestling News Source is an avenue for us all the time. We're gracious to be with Full Press, and I just want to take like 2 minutes. If you are individuals that like pop culture, like listening to Jay and Rucker on 80 Proof now, because I don't know if you know it, but Jay is like, he can't drink, and he's had to refrain from it, so it's difficult. So if you guys aren't supporting those guys, do it, because it's a battle. Like the reason a lot of us do this podcasting stuff in the initial part is because we're insecure. We want to.
And they go live tonight at 9:00. They go live on Twitch. And tonight, what they're doing is both of their wives are going to join them, and they have questions from the audience to ask. Like, so it'd be like a newlywed type of game. They got to see if their answers match their wives' answers.
Actually, you know what? I think they're going to be pretty. I think they're both pretty in tune with their wives, man. I really do. Too. I really do. Rucker plays like he's not in tune, but he is.
But some of the questions are, I know the questions I was asking. I'm in their Discord 24/7 at this point.
Well, and by the way, RJ, congratulations to the Buffalo Bills.
Yes.
So forever drink goat milk. Go Bucks.
Dude, the Royal Rumble's coming up in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, let's talk. So I don't know shit about it. So you continue to text me.
There's only 4 matches announced.
Makes sense.
It's the men's Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman versus Kevin Owens, and Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. And guess who's going to win that one?
Who's going to win that one?
I'm going to go on my prediction and say Goldberg's going to win that one. So he's the champ because Saudi Arabia must be coming up.
Can I ask you a question? Could we just start utilizing Nikki Cross with Drew McIntyre and make this happen? Can we just make this happen? Like I don't know if you guys has seen her tweet or not, but like she did a little bit of a, anymore who knows? Like the lines are getting a little bit blurred, and I think that the talent's doing a really good job of that. Nikki Cross, everybody drink. JP's taking me on. Has done a great job of putting herself out there. I want that to happen. But let's talk about the matches. That's selfish me wanting the Scottish Rite to get together. Called the Scottish Rite. The Scottish Rite, those two, just saying.
I mean, I think Goldberg is going to beat Drew McIntyre for have another run with the WWE Championship. I think Roman Reigns beats Owens for the Universal Championship, and I think that's going to be something that just makes Roman look so damn strong.
He has to. This is what we wanted, right? This is what we've asked for. This is what the entire WWE universe has been crying for, and as soon as it happens, all they do is cry some more.
And Owens is sort of the perfect guy to me in that spot because it won't be a squash match, but Owens will still make him look like Superman.
Yes, yeah. I haven't watched for 2 weeks. Like I'm behind. That should be just because.
You didn't see probably my favorite match on Raw in a long time.
I have been refraining because of the time. It's a time commitment. You didn't
even go and watch Oscar versus
No, every time you've texted me, like I've literally you see how much social media we have declined the last week and a half, and it's just because I've been waiting. Royal Rumble's my favorite pay-per-view. Right.
So they did this deal with it was Oscar versus Alexa Bliss, and they did the whole playground beforehand. And Oscar's going, "Is he here? Is he here?" Obviously referring to the Fiend. And the whole match, then the playground goes away, and it's them two. And the whole match, Alexa Bliss is just being so like nonchalant, almost Orange Cassidy-ish, but like a possessed Orange Cassidy. And Oscar would go for something and she would just block it, and that would be that. And then all of a sudden she'd get a little offense in, and then go right back to the relaxed nature. Then she beats Oscar, and it blinks. She's changed into the crazy outfit, and she just looks into the camera and she melts. Let me in, but it's the Fiend's voice. It was a pretty nice little deal.
You know how I am when it comes to if it's half and half, I can't do it. And so we're only 4 matches are announced. So which ones are we going to predict? Which ones are we going with? I mean,
we can't even because the 4 matches announced, 2 of them are the Royal Rumble, and they haven't announced everybody that's in them yet. And then
you could gather. I think we can gather. I feel like I can gather from what's going on with Nakamura as well as Cesaro. Like inevitably there's going to be some play there. So I don't know, man. I'm picking like Nakamura as my dark horse. That's who, just in the men's. That's who I'm picking. The reason
I'm sort of picking a dark horse too.
Who?
But some might not see it as a dark horse. It's someone that hasn't been around for a little bit, but I have a feeling he's coming back.
John Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish John Cena would come back, man.
Comes back as number 30. And, I mean, he can't not win if that happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm being very delicate not to rush this, right? I'm watching the time because I want to hit on, like, when we first came back, the reason we started this again is like we both got this itch, like Rousey's going to be in the Rumble, dude. Rousey's going to be in the Rumble. Everybody's like, no. And we're like, yep, she's going to be in the Rumble. She's going to be in the Rumble. And sure as shit. And I think it hooked us. Yeah.
Go ahead, because we're on the same boat here. But I'm going to tell you why I think Cena wins the Rumble too.
Do tell.
Cena versus Roman Mania
this year.
Oh, yeah,
got to happen, right? Because everybody wants that marquee. Cena will always be the ultimate face. They needed the heel to make it valid, right? Besides Orton,
people can hate him all they want, but the fact is, the kids love him, and that's all that matters.
I love John Cena. You know, I'm a mark for Cena from day one. Like Thugonomics, man. Come on.
Tommy Flynn is a huge John Cena fan.
Tommy Flynn, your T-shirt's on the way, by the way. So, and figs. Like, I think everything's straightened out now that we got the stuff done that we need to get done here. As far as whatever, I think mail's back where it needs to be.
Yeah, when you win something, like, the stuff is coming out of our pockets, so just bear with us.
Well, that, and plus you got like mail in Montana during this whole election
and going on with COVID and right.
It's weird.
You will get it. Like, somebody just thanked us because, like, I'm not the most organized. One of the old prizes, I had sent a figure out, and it was a good figure. It was the Edgehead figure. I sent it out, and the second I sent it, I texted you. I said, I think I sent it to the wrong person. And then we got a message from the guy thanking us the other day.
Well, congratulations. Hopefully he gets the...
And yes, we did send it out to the right person as well.
Well, yeah. We did the best we can with what we have.
Right. So
you're going John Cena at 30 comes in and wins it?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm down with that. I'll always support a Cena prediction.
I'd be surprised if he comes in earlier than that because it's going to be a surprise. You know what I mean? So can't have him come in as like number 12 and like then the shock is over.
Okay. And before we go into the female portion of this is, I don't want to do a diatribe and just like vomit, but I want to try and make a point when I talk about this, right? I feel, and I don't want to switch up, just like AEW in the tournament. We'll talk about that, I think, after on the backside of this. And the reason why I wanted to play Masha's promo, because I really feel like if she's in the States at the same time this tournament's going on, she's going to be in this tournament. She had never disclosed this to us. She had never talked about it. But when I sent out the tweet, like the reason I do these things is because I just follow the bookings. I follow the bookings. That's it. That's all I do. And Mission Pro is a gateway to usually AEW Dark, and AEW Dark is a gateway to being on AEW on Wednesday nights. So
yes, you look at it, and some of the Dark, Max Caster and his tag team. Max is the Alien's boyfriend.
Lady Frost, but Lady Frost in that group. I mean, she was.
But yeah, Max just signed a deal with them.
It's amazing.
I mean, his girlfriend is the Alien,
Chris Statlander.
Yes. So we had her on.
God, that was such a fun interview, man. That was such a fun interview.
But
she's such a cool person.
Awesome.
Anyway, women's Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Are we both going to just say Rousey's coming back at this point in time? Like, that's the bold prediction. We're both going to ride this, or are we going to go a different route?
I'm going to go a different route on you because I know you're going to pick Rousey, and for the record, I won't be surprised if it's Rousey. But I'm going to go a different route just so we don't agree, if that makes sense.
I think Rousey has done enough work, and people haven't seen it. And she's done what she needed to do, and she laid the groundwork before she left to be the biggest heel when she comes back and get the biggest pop and the boo. But I want to make that prediction, but at the same time, do you say that for live events? Do you continue to cultivate that, knowing that she has time to really build on those and refine those skills? Which, when I say this, I mean this with all respect. When I watch AEW compared to a WWE product, when it comes to the in-ring, and correct me if I'm wrong, like 9 out of 10 times, the individual in the ring is going to be able to complete the maneuver or the task, right? AEW, that's like 6 or 7 out of 10. There's a lot of stuff that's like Jericho's, whatever it was off the ropes. It's lacking in a lot of ways. I love don't get me wrong, Lance Archer since day one, Eddie Kingston forever, CZW, longest reigning Chikara.
The first ever Chikara champ.
Yeah, like 900 and some odd days reigning. I love these guys. I've watched them forever, but I
don't know what Chikara is, but
I don't either. Yeah. Oh, speaking of that, Saturday mornings now, you can spend your time eating your cereal, as we used to do as kids, watching Camp Leapfrog, I believe.
Where? Because I'm trying to find the latest one, and it hasn't uploaded yet, and I'm so mad I missed it live.
I think the latest retro casts are probably on IWTV.
I am trying to catch. I've been dying to see that one, the 1985.
Yes. So I was on Young Hatfield's. I was on Young Hatfield's Twitter today, and he was talking about Saturday mornings and Camp Leapfrog. So Ref Kev, Sam, everybody that over there is doing that Saturday morning thing. I'm serious. Like a lot of us dads that have it, that's what we look for. You missed Saturday morning wrestling, Saturday morning cartoons that involved the WWF guys back then.
Although
it's kind of a throwback to that.
Somebody there tried to steal my idea.
Yeah, what was you? This is a constant debate that you were to be referred to as Giant in the colony. This was conferred upon before the Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame Joe Bruins thing, and Calix wanted to claim that, and Green Ant did come to your defense,
corrected him, which was pretty cool. When we've become friends with Green Ant and Deef Ant in the colony, and I had said one day, because they obviously did the play on names, the Missile Assault Ant and that type of thing. I said, why don't I be the Giant? And they loved it. And, of course I was joking. But they, Big Calix recently said, I need to join your club. I'm Giant. And Green Ant was like, oh, sorry, that's JP.
Another dude that I'm super excited besides Gresham is Yuta. Like, he's just the ROH product is hot as F. It's back to where it was. The Code of Honor, I think, is back. I think that's the biggest key. When you have
John
the pure,
Wall is trying to make another run too.
Yeah,
the pure wrestling champ, FIP champ back in the day, Lucha Underground. He was RJ Brewer for Lucha Underground. Just such a talent.
You know what I'm more obsessed with is the fact that everybody's trying to get Impact over again. Like, even Tony Schiavone, I don't know if it's funny because people react to this, and it's great that I think he puts it over, but they asked him on their own podcast, like, would Tony Khan buy Impact? And Tony Schiavone said, not even with coupons. So, they're creating their own rivalry, right? So if you're getting that twisted, you're getting worked.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is you got to realize they're saying this on TV.
On their social media, on their podcasts, on their everything that you get worked on. I love it, dude. I love it. And the only reason I bring that up is because I think that's what's hurting AEW. I don't watch AEW to watch Impact wrestlers. I just don't. Kenny Omega, great. Woohoo, fun. I tune in to watch Eddie, Archer, Orange Cassidy.
I would pay to see Kenny Omega right now versus Eddie Edwards right now.
Agreed.
That's the match. That's the match. There's nothing else.
Would you pay what type of money would you pay to see Kenny Omega versus Roman Reigns?
Oh, on what level?
Pay-per-view belt for belt, title for title.
WWE $9.99 a month.
I was waiting for you to say that.
Seriously, but that's like pay-per-view match, and Omega's been in the WWE system.
I know. I'm really. And the only reason why is you're going to throw Goldberg in there. I can go to his Japan run, so that's my in when I'm talking about the IWGP belt. And if you're going to be comparing belts to belt and what to what and who to who, I don't know if Reigns has ever held that. So that's my opinion.
But I think
you don't like it.
AEW needs to really with doing this. I think Eddie, and I'm biased because I'm boys with Eddie. I've known Eddie a long time.
He's so good, dude.
Been out at the bars with him and stuff. I'm biased. I'm absolutely biased. But like what other match? Who else? Who do
You're
they
not
have
biased.
that's a
I don't
better
think-
worker than him?
I think we need to start using the words emotionally invested, because I think that's what we are when some of these guys that have been in Chikara that we used to know is Eddie. Between CZW and Chikara, Eddie Edwards is why I love the type of wrestling, which is deathmatch, blood, intense, in your face. I don't care who you are. I'm going to tell you what I feel, and you're not going to write my promos, right? That's kind of where I'm at. So that's just IWGP belt. If you're going to go that route, and I don't know, man, you have standalones like Ring of Honor, Major League Wrestling, that I would choose to watch before Impact right now, and I'm okay saying that.
Yeah, I mean, we're honest. I'm not gonna be biased. I haven't watched AEW in months, and I keep the thing with AEW is I want to watch it, and then I run out of time.
There's the thing is that it's commitment to me. Like my commitment's always to the younger generation. It always is, and always will be, just because that's who I'm wired to be.
I have to watch NXT because I want to see Anthony. I want to see August. I want to see that kid do everything he does, and he listens like he hears this, like, and he knows how proud we are of him. I text with him at least once a week still.
The kid,
and the fact that he's been in the Dusty. Here's the thing: he was in the Dusty Road Classic. Yes, they lost. He's going to be in the Royal Rumble within 2 years.
Hey, can we just start talking about what he hasn't been in instead? Let's just do that.
Within 2 years, if it's not next year's Rumble, first of all, if it's not in 2 weeks, it's probably going to be next year's Rumble, and if it's not next year's Rumble, it's the one after that he's in. Think about that; like it's that close for the kid.
There's something innate, and I really believe and understand in the WWE's vetting process when it comes to talent. And that's why there is talent that works for the WWE and there's talent that doesn't work for the WWE, because I feel like they know they are a publicly traded company with investors. And when they sign you to a contract, they are investing in you not only as a talent, but as a person. They're trusting you with that brand. So if those people don't take it serious or don't understand it, then absolutely go make your money. Go do the Twitch, go play your video games, go do the AEW, go do all of whatever that is that you do and make that money on Patreon, selling whatever you sell, booty, not booty, coach, whatever stuff. And do it, right?
By the way, the Bullet Club doesn't mean anything anymore. The Bullet Club was Finn. It was Fergal. It was, those guys. What means something now? The Chaos Club.
That's sweet. Is that Ringside Art?
I don't know if Ringside did this.
I like ours.
But Ringside Art does some great work. If you guys need any artwork done, fucking extremely reasonable. Yeah, you see our logos everywhere. It's going to be on the wheel in a moment. And you know what I think I'm going to do?
What?
I can't.
Spin the wheel because we got a couple minutes left.
Yeah, we're going to spin the wheel. Guys, I'm going to, tomorrow we'll be sharing the link. Actually, it'll be shared tonight in about an hour or so, where you'll be able to listen to the first part of the interview with Nikita Koloff.
JD Hoop did your logo and shared the new Chaos Club logo, by the way.
JD Hoop does great work, too.
Yeah, he did our other one as well.
Yes. All right, hang on. We're going to spin this bad boy.
Spin this, by the way, if we win, since we do become part of this, like these individual figs, then we keep these. Like, I don't care anymore. Like,
I said, if it comes up my name, I'm going to make a donation to charity instead. But yes, we're not going to respin.
I'm going to make a donation to my collection.
Hang on, because there's more retweets now. So I'm going to add the last minute names on. That's the thing, guys. Like, you can retweet it at any time. We'll get you on there. That Jew, that don't count. Well, no, you're on there, so that does count now. And but there is still Elvis put himself on there, and Chaos Theory put themselves on there. So
awesome.
Let me add them on real quick. Thank you guys, Elvis. What a supporter Elvis is too. Like that's a guy that thought he was going to go away, and he didn't. And I'm glad he didn't. And same thing with guys like Mad Dog. Love me.
Well, we just appreciate the support. And as always, if you guys want and need to, we would appreciate the follow at 3 Irish Boys. Search Irish Whip anywhere. Just put that in the old Google machine. Irish Whip, hit enter, and you're going to find us. Cool, man. I'm so excited for you to spin this wheel, but I'm so disappointed that it takes you so long to get it done.
I was just adding names to it. Are we up on the board? I'm shuffling. I had to add names. I had to shuffle. I didn't
even have the graphic done this week. Like I'm behind, man. I'm slacking.
Yeah, I did the board about 20 minutes before the show started. We're shuffling.
Spin that, baby. Man. I want to see who wins. Thank you guys, everybody, for listening. Thank you for downloading. Again, please download and rate. Also, download and rate your favorite podcast. Find us on the Full Press Wrestling app, as well as WrestlingNewsSource.com. And this
Full Press Wrestling, we go like it works almost like a radio station on Saturdays too, where they play like basically one wrestling podcast after the other, which is really cool. There are some good guys like Mike Farrell with the Chaos Theory, Boot to the Face, RJ. Oh,
BXPRJ.
I've been rooting for Bronx Puerto Rican Jay. Because like he's been one of the guys that sort of came around and he found us because of Free Fig Friday and he retweets it every week. So,
dude, hey, thanks Bronx Puerto Rican Jay for playing along. If you don't follow Free Fig Friday, you should. Hashtag Free Fig Friday. Come along. You'll see a little bit more stuff from us on Wrestling News Source moving forward. And it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult to win, but we're also going to have some bigger stuff. So
yeah, and that's the thing is like next week is a pay-per-view. So pay-per-view is at least an elite pay-per-view weeks is how we're going to do that. That's going to be like the big money figures, not big money necessarily, but the more expensive figures where the other weeks will be. I don't even know. I don't even know what it'll be, but we'll figure something out. And then be announced by Monday. But like the other weeks will be like there won't always be a figure. Maybe it'll be an autograph. Maybe it'll be a what do they call it? That like a Hasbro that came out a couple of years ago there. The old school figures. Those were super collectible and they're
Look at Farrell. Farrell just said, I'll tell you what, next week, whoever wins for the wheel, I'll send him a Chaos Club shirt for free, too. So there you go.
There you go.
We'll dual.
Guys, you got to check out Chaos Theory because, like, it's such a. Mike is a great guy. I'm going to destroy him and I'm going to make him feel bad about himself when we have our little rap battle.
I keep feeding him secrets about you.
You guys have no idea what's in stock for this, but I think me and Mike are going to whip up some magic on it. And it's
yes, we will continue to do polls, but every once in a while we're going to find a cool one for you. Like I'm pretty sure I can run down and get that Edge variant from that series that I have right now. I could probably go get that Edge variant as well. I have the Bucktooth Matt Riddle as well, so we could probably pick those.
I'm glad that thank you for the feedback on that. That was something we did sort of on a whim. So I'm glad that you enjoyed that and having the option.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for listening, JP. It's the time machine says we got to go, brother.
Yeah. So check it out. Listen, guys, this week's show, today's episode is brought to you by Fanatics. Fanatics is the world's largest collection of official fan gear from all of the leagues, teams, and players you love. If you enjoy our show and you're looking to buy a new jersey, sweatshirt, or hat, anything sports related, really, guys, support us by going to podgo.co/fanatics and getting 25% off your next order. That's podgo.co/fanatics. Fanatics officially licensed everything.
Yeah, I need to go. If I'm going to post the burning of my Roethlisberger jersey,
yeah, you
probably tag Podgo for that,
dude.
I may need to make another purchase.
Random Mania. What's up, TIW Mafia? I don't know how far it is from Ireland to Russia, but I think we're gonna take a look into that today. We're gonna learn some geography and some history here. But we got a special guest with us. This is our second Russian guest in about 2 weeks, and
it's the Russian invasion. And I'm excited to hear. I'm excited to actually hear if that accent comes through straight from Minneapolis as solid as it should or not.
But we got with us the one and only, the Russian Nightmare, Nikita Koloff.
Comrades, how are you guys tonight?
Oh my God!
We'll just open up with that for your listeners, huh? So there you go.
How many times a day how often, even on non-show days or when you weren't at the arenas, how often were you doing that back in the day?
Yeah. Are you referring to days off?
Well, I mean, there weren't too many of those. You worked.
Well, there were not, which, by the way, I appreciate the introduction. I don't know if it's Russian invasion or you guys are going to be guilty of Russian collusion, so just watch your back.
Both.
I don't know.
I never delete emails.
I'm just saying. I don't know. Anyway, well, I'll put it in perspective right out of the gate. Just for you mentioned the young guys out there. In 1986, I had 454 matches. So let's just do the math on that, and we'll just start there. So wherever you want to go.
I ran out of fingers.
Right. No more fingers and toes left, right? In fact, hey, recently someone sent me I don't know if it was a tweet. I think it was a tweet or something. They posted something about they saw I wrestle like 3 times or what, and they're like, man, I hope you got 3 paydays. I just sent back a bunch of laughing faces, like, yeah, right. 3 paydays. Got 1 payday for those 3 matches in that one night. Yes.
Now, was it guarantees back then, or was it, was it a...
Yeah.
I mean, I know it wasn't guaranteed a lot.
I know Crockett was one of the first individuals to actually offer guarantees, and this is how much of a market of fan I am. I'm going to answer for him, JP, is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, Nikita, is that he is such a loyal individual, not only to Crockett Promotions and Jim Crockett and what he provided for him. It was that loyalty that kept him where he was at. Am I wrong? I don't mean to answer for you, but is that kind of where we're at?
You are 100% correct. I mean, NWA for life to this day, and grateful, thankful for the Jim Crockett Jr. and Jim Crockett Promotions. Francis, the sister, David, Jackie, the brothers. Giving me that opportunity. But let me add this. It really kind of we're talking about, in a sense, I'm going to talk about 2 different things. The guarantee, what are you kind of referring? Crockett was one of the first to offer guaranteed contracts. Okay. However, when I first started, he did have a guarantee. Now, there were no contract, but this was the guarantee. You can't make this stuff up. The guarantee was $50, $50, whether, regardless if there was 12 people in the auditorium, you knew you were going to make a minimum of $50, and then it could go up from there. However, and I never understood this one, but when we did TV tapings for Worldwide and for Mid-Atlantic, and the guarantee dropped to $40. Now, I don't get – I guess he needed the extra 10 for the TV crew. I don't know, but there you go.
That's
security.
Okay. I had read recently, and I forget who it was, but it was someone else from that era saying that I don't even know if they were talking about Crockett, but it was they were driving town to town for a $50 payday. And
yeah, no, for real. I mean, it was when I first started in 1984. I mean, I can remember going to the Lynchburg Armory in Virginia, and there probably were 12 people in the audience, and I can remember wrestling some of those early days. 7 nights a week, and 50 times 7. If I do my math right, it's 350 minus 10 for the TV is 340. So I got a few $340 checks for for a week's work.
It still baffles me. It still baffles me because JP and I were talking. I've been an NWA kid since I was young. I grew up in Montana. Everything that I've watched, except for maybe the 4 live events that I've been in, is 2-dimensional. This is really how I see it. And I grew up like the Road Warriors, and you and Ivan and Flair and Dusty and Sting you just did the interviews with Sting, and I kind of want to ask you some questions about that. But for me as a kid, like JP gets to go back and watch those matches now, and we talked about, he's like, man, it must have been cooler than shit watching this as a kid. And I'm like, it absolutely was. It was like when you would do your promos, and I still when I go back and I hear it, like I sit back and I go, I don't know if I revert to the 8-year-old mind, but I still can't understand what you're saying sometimes. And that is the coolest part for me as a kid. And I was like, I don't know what he's saying, but I love it.
Well, for the record, I went back, not recently, but I went back and watched a few, and I couldn't understand what I was saying. Don't feel bad.
I mean, did you at the time know what you were saying, though? Because there was a lot of grunts and stuff, and obviously the accent was put on pretty thick, but was there times where what's his face? The Taxi. The one that wrestled Lawler from the TV show Taxi. Laka.
I don't know.
His character on Taxi didn't speak very good English, and he said he just made it up on the fly, like with the sounds he was making.
Andy Kaufman?
Well,
yes.
Andy Kaufman. What I did in my mind, because we took about 6 months there. You know, part of the character, I didn't speak any English, so I didn't speak any English on any interviews or anything. And I got a Russian cassette tape. For those who may not know what that is, that's like you put that in a Walkman. Oh wait, some of your listeners may not know what a Walkman is either. Anyway, and I got a Russian workbook. I learned to sign my name in Russian letters. A few words like "dядя," which means uncle, "пожалуйста," which means please, "один, два, три, четыре, пять, шесть," which is counting to 10 in Russian. So I got a few words down, a few phrases. And then in my mind, when I knew I was going to start interviewing, actually speaking, I'm like, if I really was from there, what would that word sound like, or how would that sentence come out? And I knew if I'm just learning, the accent has to be pretty thick and heavy, and leave people wondering, like yourself, Josh, what the heck did he just say? And so that was part of my plan.
That's the gold that as I look back, that I appreciate more and more and more, is that the effectiveness of the little pieces that you were amazing at. Because there was, when promos were cut or in the ring, I mean, even go back to the first War Games. I don't know how many times I've watched that, and I think NXT reviving that has revived a lot of other things too, but that first War Games back in '87, I think it was. Man, I'm taxing my brain. I don't know if you can talk about. You've talked about it so many times, but the one part I've always wanted to know is with Dusty and the whole Tina Turner thing. Like, did you guys have a discussion? Like, did you look at him and go, is this like, you got this idea from Tina Turner? Is this really what you want to do as Mad Max Tina Turner, this thing?
Here's why I think many fans, even to this day, call it the golden era. The difference between the product now and the product then. Yeah. You know, you talked about spontaneous. There's words like spontaneous, in my mind, improv, on the fly. Use those words. What people may not understand is, like, even our interviews, nobody handed us a script. We had creative control of our interviews, and I just needed to know who I was wrestling and where I was wrestling them, or what the goal is for the interview, even if I went out ringside or whatever. What point do I want to get across to the fan? And so again, that's all up here in my head. I'm thinking it through, and I'm like, all right. And sometimes I just went out and, just like you said, ad-libbed and spontaneously cut. So did Dusty. So the rest. Yeah. That's just how we rolled, man. It was creative control. In fact, I went down and did a show for Billy Corrigan for NWA Power, and he said, "Hey, go out, introduce your team." They didn't say how long to go on the interview. They didn't tell me what to say. It was old days, old school, flashback to those golden days, you know. And so no, you know, Dusty, that we didn't discuss. We just rolled, man, with whatever. And that was part of, as far as Dusty, that was part of his creative genius.
Yeah, his.
We've talked to a lot of these younger generation, and then they've been able to take exactly kind of what you said, and it is artistry. A lot of this younger generation is doing what you've done, and sometimes you don't even know the individual, and you've got to work out that dance and that ballet, that act of fortitude and strength and psychology right then and there. So I really, that's the part in me, like when you're talking about this and that creative and everything, night after night after night after night. And sometimes these fans would hit show after show after show after show, house show after house show after house. So you had to have possibly the same match, but a different ending. And then depending on that, where do we go from here? So I really appreciate creativity more, because you guys had to be twice as creative back then as you do now.
Yeah. Not only, I'll take it a step further for you. Yeah. A lot of the fans especially like if they were in Greenville, South Carolina, you can anticipate them being in Columbia, South Carolina. So even if I'm working a program with Ric Flair, our goal actually wasn't to give them the same match. We're going to have some of the same moves or what, but our goal every night was to give them a different match in every town every night, unless we're in Pittsburgh and Detroit or something, whatever. But yeah, we really, and I talked of the interviews, but that was true of the matches as well. The outcome, you might say, I would phrase it was predetermined, but again, I'll use Flair as an example. If I'm wrestling him for a 1 hour Broadway draw, 55 minutes of that match is spontaneously done in the ring without any prior conversation outside of the ring leading into the outcome. And that was the art of our business.
Do you feel like you're the golden era, the golden age, like we refer to this as? We have been spoiled, JP. If you think about it, like our age and where we're at, we've been really, really spoiled. And do you feel at any point in time the lessons that you learn on the road, what you've been able to see, witness, hear? I can remember, and I'm going to kind of switch gears, like the whole Sting and accepting of Jesus and the WWF and not doing that. Do you feel that the loyalty to the Crockett Promotions, also the ministry, do you feel like that cuts you off from a lot of what today's product or product in the past has to offer, or does that not even matter to you?
Because they kind of went through phases, right? They really pushed the envelope at certain, which is why Stinger didn't go to WWE sooner, right? Because of his faith. He felt like it would be a compromise, not that he would be compromising his faith personally, but just being a part of all the raw stuff they were putting out there. I
think the appearance of it would have
morality of it
might have
and he couldn't. I don't really want to speak for him, but he and I best of friends. He couldn't, in good conscience, I guess you said, just be a part of that. And once they started cleaning it up some and pulling that back, and that kind of opened that up for me. I would probably have, had I been in that position, his position, probably have come to the same conclusion as a man of faith myself now. But at this point, I'm feel grounded enough that I now perceive those opportunities, whether it's on the independent scene or eventually if I did something, whatever, with AEW or TNA or whoever, Ring of Honor, I feel like I'd be more what I would call salt and light to that organization. A lot of people don't know this. You guys may not know this. When TNA first launched, I was actually living in Nashville, Tennessee. And Jeff Jarrett he wanted me to jump in the ring. And I'm like, dude, I'm retired. And he goes, we'll put you in a 6-man. You can just stand on the apron. I'm going, you kidding me? The Russian Nightmare looked like a moron standing on the apron and doing nothing. I go, if I'm on the apron, I'm gonna get in the ring. Jeff, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity, the offer. So I just did some special deals with him, right? Like with Dusty, Under the Hood, the Mr. Wrestling thing under the hood.
Yes.
I did a handful of special appearances because I really want to see him be successful because I'm a big believer that competition is healthy.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want to see one organization monopolize wrestling. That's why I want to help TNA. What a lot of people may not know is of more interest to me that because they did those like live every Wednesday night. Well, I would drive up early and I'd hold a Bible study for anyone who wanted to attend prior to the live broadcast. AJ Styles was almost to every one of them. Terry Taylor and a handful of other guys some names who come in and out that attended those Bible studies. And that was so much fun for me. That was more fun for me, honestly, than being in front of the camera. It just was like for real.
The amazing part for me is that and JP's sitting there because he knows what I'm going to say right now. I literally paid $9.95 from the first one until the last one. So it's amazing for me to go back and look and think before all this happened, you were the one holding the prayer. You were the one in Nashville with these young boys at that point in time, starting out this company in that little spot. That's really amazing. That's a really cool place to start a ministry and a really cool place to spread the word for a lot of, and tell me if I'm wrong, but in this industry and not only in the industry, but in the world, when we're talking about your hashtags and being able to man up and man camp and everything that you and the website stand for do you think that this needs to be talked about more or brought to light more as far as not only just being partners, but also, holding each other accountable in that man-size area when we're talking about this? Yeah,
I do. I feel the timing of this, I'm just grateful for the opportunities and the timing of it. I wasn't looking. I had a couple buddies trying to push me to do a podcast. I'm like, oh, man, I don't know anything about those. I'm not, I'm like, I don't even know I have time to do them, right? And then last year with everything shutting down, the Stu Epperson, the CEO, the owner of Tooth Radio Network, randomly reached out to me one day, and I only met him a couple times. He's like, "Yeah, I need to talk with you. I need to come down." So he drives down to my house. He spends 3 hours at my house. We have lunch together, make him lunch. He goes, "You need a weekly radio show and a podcast." I'm like, "All right, well, let me pray into that." What? And I just felt an open door of opportunity to be a voice that my voice could expand beyond a church on Sunday morning or a camp with a group of guys or even a Legends autograph signing, that between the radio show and the podcast, like just right out of the gate, the podcast was downloaded in 10 different countries.
Yeah, that's
amazing.
When you see those analytics, isn't it?
When you start to see those, did you feel, the validation is there, but it also humbles you a little, right? To know that it's out there. Yeah.
No. And they're like, you got downloads in countries we never even had downloads in before, like Chile, South America. I'm like, there's Nikita Koloff fans in Chile, South America. Israel. There's downloads in Israel, Russia, Mother Russia. There's downloads in Russia, and then Sting. You mentioned Sting's interview. Out of the gate, the first day it went up, it had over 300 downloads day one. And almost, I don't know the numbers today, but almost 1,200 downloads in like 100 downloads a day, basically, But so, it is very humbling to know that I can reach it. I have a goal. I'll just put it out there for the record. I have a goal. My goal is for that podcast to be downloaded in 100 countries. And I like to say one of the things about the podcast is, we talk about wrestling, and I got a bunch of wrestlers on there, but it's not just wrestlers. I talk to businessmen, I talk to people in ministry, but we cover life stuff, like just life, that I think anybody who listens is going to somewhat be able to relate to something that is said on the podcast.
Yeah, that's it, and that's true. Like, part of we do. When we do interviews, we record the interviews at random times that are convenient for the person, and then we go live on Fridays And when we go live on Fridays, it's really just me and Josh going back and forth. And half the time we don't even talk about wrestling, even though we're a quote unquote wrestling podcast.
What we try to tell everybody is that we are a mental health podcast disguised as a pro wrestling podcast.
I like that. I like under the disguise of a wrestling podcast. But kudos to you guys. I mean, just real life. Just talking about real life that people can relate to, and bring in. I'm sure you guys are bringing a positive, encouraging message, and that's where my heart is at. Is to bring a positive, encouraging, uplifting message, whether it's through a podcast, social media, or face to face at an autograph signing. That's my hope, and that's my goal.
Do you, JP? I just want to ask this question. I'm going to shut up because I know I'm hogging it, man. I know I am. I need to shut up because I'm going to.
So, Nikita, I'm from the north. I'm Vince Country. I'm up in.
I would never guess that.
Right. So, other than the Savolis up in Maine, I didn't know about NWA until I was a little bit older.
Right.
So, I'm a WWF guy. I know who you are, and I read the magazines as a kid, and that was where I got my Koloff, my NWA, and the World Class, and all of that stuff. So this is definitely Josh's country.
I think I'm not offended by that, and I won't hold that against you.
That's right. Do you? How often? I mean, I know your DMs are open, but do you ever get a brother that's struggling out there that's in the business that reaches out to you and says, I'm struggling. I don't know what to do. I'm alone. Like I'm losing it. I feel like I can't get there. Like, do you get those from people out there, or is it more of a I'm in the business, so I can't reach out to him because he's a legend?
No, I do. I won't. I
don't want you to name names at all.
I won't, because there's a couple. I mean, if I mention a couple names, call it 11 o'clock at night, and just you could tell just messed up. People would know who they are. It's just out of respect for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yes. I mean, in fact, the last Lex and I just did a man camp in October. I had one former wrestler, Tommy Angel, who wrestled with the NWA. He was more of a job guy. Made me look good.
Talent enhancement is what the 2021 word is, I think.
Yeah, okay. Talent enhancement. Yeah. So I'm old school. Sorry, guys.
So are we. Don't feel bad. Yeah. So is Barry Horowitz.
Tommy was at the camp, and then two guys who, one real recent independent, another one has been an independent circuit for almost 20 years, and the one recent, he he was very open and transparent and honest. He gave his life to Jesus at the camp. He had been struggling with drugs and alcohol and just all kinds of stuff. And man, he's on fire now for Jesus. And so whether it's these guys reaching out, inviting him to the camp, or just reaching out to me because they either have my number, my personal number, or start with an email and then I call them. Because if you ask me to call, I will call you. If you're crying for help, I will reach out and see what I can do to help you. So yes, that's a long answer to your question, but the answer is yes, that happens. Yeah.
JP, you had to, go ahead, man. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
now
take
I
a
gotta
time out.
segue back to wrestling. Thanks. Now, how many people? Because you and Ivan were both sort of notorious to the point where, like, when I started really going around independent wrestling shows, like, and hanging out with the promoters and stuff, helping out with ring crew and whatnot, they would talk about you guys and how people that thought they knew you outside of the ring didn't realize you guys weren't Russian.
Yeah, I mean, Ivan protected the character much longer than I did. I mean, he had a much longer career and protected. So, the accent and everything else, he carried that for a long, long time. In my mind, when I broke in, I thought, okay, if I'm going to get this character over, here's what I have to do. I already kind of told you about the talking and all that, but I legally changed my name. I made a decision that once I did start learning English, I wasn't gonna talk anywhere in public without the accent. I just wasn't gonna do it.
That's what.
To
Yeah,
protect-
that's.
Yeah,
Do
to
you
protect
think
the
that's
listener.
missing today?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the unfortunate side. Wrestling's been so exposed that I don't know that someone in today's world could carry off what I was able to do and have people all these years later still get blown away when they hear me speak like this, and then realize this guy's really not from Russia. Oh my God. I mean, I have that. I've had that happen as recent as, in the last year, couple of years. I mean,
We were even in some of the comments on social media, people say your English is so much better.
That's right. Good English tutoring. Exactly right.
There's only one real. I think people are afraid to be the bad guy outside of the ring. Like, they all want to be the bad guy in the ring because it's kind of cool since, like, the Attitude Era and those guys. But they're all afraid to be that bad guy outside of the ring. And there's only one kid really doing that now, and he's in AEW. That's the MJF. Like, that kid, he
lives the butthole gimmick.
Yeah, his persona is that he's a jerk, and it's like, at what point are you just a jerk? But it's true because it gets him over so well.
Right. Well, and when I was the bad guy, like for real, like, I mean, I never signed, and it was a little different back then, but I never signed one autograph, not one. And people would try to talk to me, and I just give them that, I give them that scowl that I had, piercing eyes, piercing with my eyes, or I look at Ivan and I say, Uncle Ivan. I go, ja, oczywiście, trykaty na amerykański. I laugh. And they go, Ivan, what did he say? What did he say? I would go, oh, you don't want to know. You don't want to know. So, but yeah, and they would get so mad at me or frustrated with me because I wouldn't sign their piece of paper. I mean, I'd look at their hand, look at their paper, look at their pen, look at them, and growl and walk away, And so, to your point.
The psychology behind that, JP, is so real because I would sit there and listen to Nikita talk for a good 2 minutes and then wait for Ivan to translate it into what he wanted to say it was.
It had to make promos. That had to make the promos really easy for you back then, though.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it's still work, but it was fun. It's fun to think back on it now and think how much fun I really had at the time doing it. Like,
and you were like, I mean, back then, like, you were sort of, I think, as it exposed is when you were sort of like getting out of it a little bit, right? Like
what now?
When it started to really get exposed, when it started to open up a little.
I was already goner because I think that happened somewhere in the 90s. You guys probably know better, but when Vince got fed up with his permissions and announced that it was sports entertainment or whatever, right?
Exactly.
And I was already gone at that point, I think. Yeah.
But that's like, I just don't know, like, the way you lived it, like, that's the stuff I love. That's the stuff, I'm 46 years old, so that's like the stuff I live for because I want to believe it. You know what I mean? And now, like, a lot of them they'll say on Facebook, well, Bruce Willis didn't really kill anyone in Die Hard. No, but I understand that's a movie and I'm watching that on a big screen too. So
right.
You know, and there's a difference there. Now, what would